How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today we are going over Aerodrome Finance. I'm giving an updated, more in-depth viewpoint on this, where I honestly just am going to be looking at and comparing this chart to that of the entire markets and realistically what I think Aerodrome could do. I mean, you guys can see right there, we're at 31 cents. I believe we didn't talk about, or we talked about Aerodrome not too long ago, and it was a decent bit higher than this. I believe 44, 50 cents at the time of that recording. And now we're at 31. Now, as you guys can see, we have a trend line. I'm not the best at technical analysis, but essentially this is a trend line, right? So the trend I drew from this low, and we are just kind of, just averaging out that right there, and the same thing here. So kind of where these highs were meeting, almost you could think of it as a support resistance, although horizontal, of course, is going to be the better option for giving more clear options or a viewpoint at support resistance. But I kind of just wanted to draw this trend line to share with you essentially what I saw, and this is on the day chart. Basically what we see here is this trend of clearly bearish, right? You have a bunch of lower highs being made and a bunch of lower lows being made, and to the point where we're currently at here. And you can see clearly previously where we had these bearish fair value gaps, these have essentially been enacted upon. We saw this literally touching the midsection of this fair value gap, got just plummeted back down, confirming that bearish fair value gap. Same thing here essentially, and same thing, I don't know if you can see right there. There's a bunch of different areas where we had these bearish fair value gaps that definitely did confirm that we'd be moving in a bearish direction. Now, of course, the news hasn't really done us any justice. I think that is clearly something to go over. But as far as the life cycle of Aerodrome Finance, I guess honestly we can, and again, I just like to preface, I am not the best at technical analysis. We can almost see like I want to say support at this level. We had price bouncing off here a little bit, price come down to the area, not really touch it. Then we had price, I mean, it didn't really even move down there. But we're revisiting this like very, very back in the day, inception of Aerodrome, pretty much a low that it created there. As you can see, we've gone below that, which of course isn't great. But again, we've already talked about how the entire market is down bad and just doesn't honestly look great. Now there's one key thing that I wanted to share here, as you guys will see. Now this is the total 2 chart. This essentially is the 4-hour time frame. But basically what total 2 is all of crypto except Bitcoin. So you could think of this as just an altcoin chart. Basically what we see here, guys, is we of course have this market cap, but a key thing to kind of take a look at is the fact that we had this bearish fair value gap. Price entered here, came down, but it stayed relatively fine there. But of course we are in bearish sentiment even here, right? Which could definitely lead to more shorting opportunities. You can kind of see if we draw more trend lines yet again, this same sort of trend, right? And again, I just like to preface, I do not have that much experience with technical analysis, so I don't want to get you guys hopes up. We can almost view a trend line here. Same thing we've kind of seen with Aerodrome. Now you could almost take a look at this and be like, okay, well, as you can see, we've revisited this trend line, boom, right? We revisit this trend line, boom, and et cetera, et cetera. So you could essentially make a hypothesis that we could see a move back up past $1 trillion in total 2 if it rejects this trend line, or if it supports this trend line, right? So there's definitely a possibility we could see something of this nature, though, so it's definitely not anything certain. But I definitely would like to point that out. Just a simple viewpoint of technical analysis. Again, like I wanted to say, I am not a skillful trader yet, And I do definitely want to make that clear to you guys. Now, there's a bearish fair value gap that was created right here. Essentially, what we could see is price kind of continuing on and essentially filling, pushing in this fair value gap, and then moving us to that trend line where we could then see a reversal, where you could then long some altcoins if they look good. But honestly, I don't know what to expect. Now, again, looking at Aerodrome, again, these aren't perfect trend lines, but you could hypothesize a bounce from here if this trend line was drawn a lot nicer than, of course, it currently looks. But genuinely, guys, as far as technical analysis goes, again, I'm not giving very, very in-depth views on this yet. The goal will be for me to be able to do that in the future. I just like you guys to understand. But now I'm simply doing the bare bones things. But yeah, I just wanted to preface that as I'm learning. Now, again, I can't express how much I love certain projects because of everything that they have to do, but simply put, that has no matter whatsoever in current market standing. In current market standing, I can't really just talk about one specific coin because all of the coins are down bad, right? All of the coins are not doing well. So for me to specifically talk about one coin, here we are. I'm just kind of, this is like the first time I've actually done something like this. You're going to see that literally everything I'm going to be saying is very much the same, right? Because all the coins are experiencing the same exact problems that we have in the market indecision with the tariffs and a bunch of other stuff. So macroeconomically, all coins are going to be suffering. And I could say day by day that Aerodrome, by technicality, by its fundamentals, you'll see some of the X posts. We're going to explain some of those. Aerodrome's doing phenomenal. But in terms of its price action, what do you expect when the entire market is not doing hot whatsoever and macroeconomic factors are pushing it around? But to reaffirm and I guess reaffirm my belief on Aerodrome, I still think it's a very good coin technically. Now, one thing I wanted to show you guys, now that we're so far down, in the event we do see a bullish outcome come out of 2025, regardless of when that is, and we do, quote unquote, see an alt season, again, I right now am more 40% we will see an alt season, 60% we won't this year. And based just honestly how this cycle's been with the shift of narratives. But assuming we see just any movement up, I think Aerodrome, and this is crazy because Uniswap's only at 2.8 billion now, could see a push to like $2-3. Assuming it, again, I mean, it'd have to break this trend line, revisit this resistance here, and try to break that. So honestly, guys, like, it's so up in the air right now, I can't even just give like a price prediction, but I always like comparing it with projects it's similar to. That of Uniswap, it'd be a $3.51 token. I don't even like, to be fair with you guys, I don't even want to really give a price prediction for Aerodrome. Like, that's not even what the video is meant to be. This video is meant to be about kind of discussing this token, but more so just discussing the overall market's down. Aerodrome's going to be down with it. I think we could even go lower here. I don't think 6-cent Aerodrome would be insane to see, but like how bearish this chart looks, this doesn't, like, we are just in a bearish downtrend, right? But you could definitely catch a bottom, so to speak. Again, I'm doing my best to learn how to do that. But let me go over why I still believe Aerodrome's a fantastic project. I don't know if it will do well or not. It doesn't look like it will do short term at the very least in terms of price action. But as far as a project that's actively doing great things within the market, especially for base, I'm not going to say this is a good long-term investment by any means, as it's an altcoin. But if I did have to place my money into an investment that's an altcoin that deals with DeFi that I would hold for a couple of years, it would be Aerodrome. But I would be actively using it for what it's worth. So Aerodrome Slipstream liquidity pool rewards, you can see it has Toshi, ZRO, Degen, a bunch of different things here. right? In January, Coinbase launched Bitcoin-backed USDC loans for its customers. Again, major step in DeFi. So Aerodrome is one of the biggest. By the way, Coinbase, if you don't know, is their Coinbase Ventures, their investing branch is invested into Aerodrome Finance. And so you can see billions of capital on chain, the DeFi, blah, blah, blah. But you can see if you just scroll through the X page, moral story, you scroll through their X page, you're going to see everything that Aerodrome is doing. And they're very involved with the Base community. This is one of the biggest Base tokens, and I, as well as a lot of other people, believe Base to be severely undervalued right now. But like I've said, guys, Aerodrome is in a bad position because the whole market is in a bad position. One thing I'll say is on crypto Twitter, I'll see a bunch of promotions talking about the market's Ethereum's going to go to $10,000 easily. The bull run's still on. Alt season's going to be here sooner than you think. It's great to have hope, and I'm not saying that those things could not happen. They definitely could. I'm also, I'm not coming at this in a bearish way, but but to be fair, I don't want any of you to take a look at what these people are saying, and because you're so down bad in your bags, to then marry this statement and really just place all your faith in something that isn't bound to happen. You have to make logical convictions here. It's something that, yes, I myself have had to have learned, and I think it's going to heavily pay off. But with that in mind, one of the biggest things I could just offer as just advice or just a statement, please don't listen to people who are selling you a dream just for them to get more engagement. Because at the end of the day, there's no certainty of what's going to happen next. And honestly, you'd probably want to be more safer than you would simply full porting, some coin or full porting your bag because it's at such a good price, and then a week or two later we're down 90% even more. I don't want that to happen to you guys. I want you to approach everything with a logical conviction, and this is also speaking to myself. Approach everything with a logical conviction, because yes, a coin like Aerodrome has so much utility, but the problem is the whole market is in the red. We have all these macroeconomic factors coming into play. Tariffs, there's so much uncertainty with the market that to put a definite on saying that things are going to be great is simply just not what you should be doing here, in my opinion. Not financial advice. But with all that being said, guys, I guess to conclude this video, Aerodrome looks to be in a bearish pattern here from my very small effort of TA. And if I tried, I would just mess it up completely. I'm still learning, like I said, but as far as Aerodrome still being a great project, you already know my stance on this. I'm not going to just continue to make a video on a coin. I'll do an update here, kind of sharing the chart, since this is a little something to add. But I'm not going to continue to say over and over again that I really think a project provides good utility, because at the end of the day, of course, nothing ever's going to change unless this coin completely scams someone, right? This coin's always going to have great utility, because that's just a logical conclusion I came out from it. But no, I think Aerodrome has a chance to do good. It's just what do you want me to say? The market's overall just bad, right? The overall market's down bad right now. If things change, then we break this trend line, then maybe we'll see something come out of this. But to be honest with you guys, it's so uncertain that if I were you, what I'm doing, I'm not buying any altcoins right now. The only thing I'm buying are safer assets. And if we get confirmation that, hey, things are looking bullish again, there's a bunch of different confluences we have that things are looking bullish, then sure, I'll go make a move. Right now, no, too uncertain for me. Don't let anyone sell you a dream, and that's going to be it for me today, guys.